Three, two, one.
What's up? It's Tuesday at noon, right
Yeah,
here on Facebook and broadcast around the world from right here in Central PA.
absolutely. This is the Build and Grow with Real Estate show here on the Real Estate Hackers Network, and we are excited to be with you guys. And we've got a lot of really great content lined up, a lot of interesting news things to talk about. Josh and I were just talking off the air. First of all, by the way, I love it when worlds collide. You had coffee with my sister today.
Oh my gosh.
And
Listen,
I'm friends with Taz on Facebook now.
I know. Listen, so speaking of that, first of all, your sister is a delight.
Yep.
Jana is awesome. I just talked to my wife about sitting down with her sometime next week and getting started with Edward Jones. She's fantastic.
Yep.
And Taz, I mean, look, man, I gotta throw some love to Taz here. I mean, say, like, he is such a good liar. What wisdom I'll receive today from these smart fellas. Like, what a great liar. We got great liars on our show.
Yep. Amazing. I don't care what lies you tell about me as long as you spell my name right.
That's and hopefully they're pretty nice.
Right. Exactly.
Let's jump in here. Tell people a little about who you are, why they should care about listening to you, and what background you got.
So my name is Judah. I'm an executive with Slate House Group. We are a modern real estate company. I'm also a full service realtor. So I can list real estate for you. I can be your buyer's agent on real estate, as well as I can manage properties for you and do everything in between. Would love to talk with you and work with you more on all of those things.
Yeah, awesome. My name's Josh Weidman. I've been a real estate investor for the past, my goodness, it's coming on 14 years right now at the end of this year. I've done a lot of different things in real estate. I am a lender, a hard money lender. So if you're looking to fund your next project, whether it's in Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, Northern Virginia, or DC, we've got money to lend. We're actively lending. We are a direct lender, which means that if you are looking to fund your deal, you contact us. We're going to be able to underwrite the deal on the same day that you call us, give you an approval on that same day. And if you got a time crunch, we can close within 24 hours of approval. So, we got a bunch of loans closing this week. We got a lot of people that are rocking and rolling in the mid-state here with some new projects. So, if you're looking to get funding on your next project, give me a ring. So, Judah, talk to me. Let me say this. We've got some crazy stuff happening that could affect real estate agents. You were just telling me right before the show, revolving around some of the controversy. Now,
yeah, so we're not getting into the controversy. I'm not saying what should or shouldn't happen, but the PA State House and the governor are fighting in Pennsylvania and have been for time immemorial, but specifically with this COVID situation, they all played nice for about 2 to 3 weeks, and now they've been fighting. The House and Senate said you no longer have this. This is no longer an emergency. You still have emergency powers, but this COVID emergency is now over. We have, by statute and law and blah, 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 have the ability to render it done. The governor has said no, and so they are now going to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for that. Why this is important is realtors need to get 14 hours of not community service. Everything realtors do is community service. Realtors need to get 14 hours of continuing ed every 2 years. And you need to prove that that is done by April 15th or something like that in even numbered years is essentially what that needs to be done. Usually what that means is every realtor and their brother waits until March to start doing that, and they cram it in very aggressively. This year, because of the emergency declaration, they pushed license renewals back, and they pushed continuing ed requirements back because we couldn't meet together. And even though you could take it online, they still pushed all those requirements back, like sometime in August. I've heard more than one person say now that if they overturn this, the state could say, well, fine, your licenses are all due now. Especially since it's been realtors who have been pushing kind of aggressively for the reopen and for the we shouldn't be in shutdown and everything like that, partly because they felt extra put upon and extra shutdown. So there's this whole back and forth thing. The takeaway is the message is don't wait till August. Don't wait till, halfway through July. Today, June 23rd, start working on your continuing ed, start trying to knock it out so that no matter what happens with this state, you're in the clear.
Well, so let's talk about some continuing ed here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great segue. Well done, Judah. So Monday through Wednesday, we bring you some education and background based on our combined experience in real estate investing. I had a wholesale company for several years from about 2007 to 2010, where we would wholesale 10 to 12 properties every single month, which required an awful lot of marketing. And that's what we're talking about this week. Thursdays, we do a show with an interview where we'll interview an industry expert or somebody that's in the midst of generally what we're talking about. And then Friday, we talk about the news. But today we're talking about direct mail, and there was a good period of time where I would send out no less than 10,000 pieces of direct mail every single month, and sometimes it was a heck of a lot more than that. It's one of my favorite subjects, and we've seen some diminishing returns here in direct mail, but it's really an essential part of what you should be doing with marketing.
100%. It is. It's a mainstay to your marketing. You should be consistently dripping on people, consistently doing mail, because the mail's not going away. It's always going to be a great place to reach people, and it's just vital. So let's talk about it.
All right, awesome. So Judah, hold on. Let's get rid of that share. All right, perfect. So let's take a look at this.
Taz says direct mail is expensive. True.
You said that? Wait a minute.
Taz, your boy.
Compared to what, Taz? Compared to what? It's funny. I was talking to Jonna this morning, right? And she said she came to one of your networking events one time, and I think that Anna was speaking at the event. And she was doing that. In fact, you know what? I don't even know if it was one of your events or whether it was just Anna speaking at the event. And she was talking about marketing. And she says something like, you should budget about $5,000 a month for marketing. And people are like, $5,000? Oh my goodness. Right? Well, look, it depends on where you're at. You're not going to start by spending $5,000 and sending out a
scale. Just like anybody who wants to spend money on Facebook ads, you start spending $5 a day, or $1 a day for whatever. Like you spend $10 and spread it out over 3 or 4 days, and you scale that up. It's the same way. It's the same way with marketing. You start small and you definitely scale that up. The other thing is, if marketing didn't have an ROI that was achievable, the big companies wouldn't do it.
And trackable. That's the other thing. You can track it.
Right. I mean, there's a reason why politicians spend money on marketing that they do. There's a reason why all the big companies spend money on marketing and direct mail that they do. When people say, "Oh, I spent money on marketing on direct mail and nothing happened," well, great. Maybe your copy sucked. Maybe you were using, a bad list. Maybe, whatever. So you've got to. There's a lot of variables, and you've got to control for those variables and split test. People say, "Oh, I spent $5,000 on marketing, nothing happened." Oh, what split test did you do? You spent $5,000 in 1 month, or spread out over 5 months, and you dripped on. Did you send one piece to 5,000 people, or did you send 5 pieces to 1,000 people? Spread 3 weeks apart. There's a whole lot of ways that you can do market. It's not like you can do this once or twice and expect return. And Steve, it's not even so. Steve talks about here a 1% return. It's not even 1% return rate. It's a 1% response rate if you're good. That's why. Then the other thing is that's just to get the phone to ring. You've still got to book the appointment. You've still got to show up and know how to sell, and you've still got to know how to take that ratified contract and turn it into profitable.
And so you think about. I want you to wrap your head around this. Okay, so imagine. Well, I'm kind of diverting the conversation a little bit, but like so many people jump into real estate and they put money aside for marketing and they say, I'm going to spend that $5,000 a month. And I'm going to do, you can send 10,000 mailing pieces for $5,000, 10,000. So they'll send 10,000 month after month after month, and they get 100 responses, right? And then they don't do anything with those responses, or they don't maximize those responses by supplementing. If you're going to spend 5,000 on marketing, maybe you only spend 2,000 on direct mail, but you use other supplemental sources to really buttress those leads, to make them better and stronger, and the people that you're talking to much more educated about what you do and how you do it, so that by the time you walk in the house, that 100 leads or that 20 leads turns into 2 or 3 contracts. That's a big deal. So, all right, what's direct mail? Very simply, this is just a mailing piece, right? The reason that people use direct mail is, number one, the information is pretty accessible. It's pretty.
Well, the
easy.
reason it's called direct mail is because you're not mailing. You're not doing. It's not junk mail. So you're not mailing to every zip code or every town or every state, or you're not mailing to a group of we are mailing to a group of addresses, but you're targeting people who are homeowners. You're targeting people who are out-of-state investors. You're targeting people who have had some mortgage problems in the past, or they've had delinquent taxes in the past, or all of those things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you're directing specifically who is your message going to.
Right. Exactly. And
there's no direct TV commercial. You know what I mean? You can't buy space on The Price is Right and say, I only want.
No.
You can pick based on pick based on what shows you pick, but a TV commercial is broadcast. A radio commercial is broadcast. This is direct mail. So don't think that just because you're sending out 5,000 pieces a month, if you scale to that level, that it's not still a directed marketing campaign. That's an important thing to recognize.
Well, and so with any marketing campaign, it's important that your message matches the people that you are targeting. If you start targeting, I can buy your house fast and save you from foreclosure with just a high equity list or a vacant property list, there's going to be a few hits there, but it's not going to be nearly that 1% or a 0.5% that you expect to see in a direct mail campaign. You still have to start with the fundamentals, figure out what will get people moving, will activate people that you are targeting. What is important to them? How can you help them? Create a message targeted towards that group, and then you deliver it by the Postal Service. So there's 2 basic forms here of delivery, right? We got postcards and we got letters. Let's start with the postcard. This is my favorite. I love postcards for almost every list, mainly because they're the least expensive option. You can do a lot more, and because you don't have to open an envelope, right? That's a big plus when your message is sitting there right in their face. Anytime that I've put together a campaign, initially, I think I've told this story before. My first campaign, I hand wrote, addressed, and stamped a couple thousand letters and sent it out one time and didn't get one phone call.
Right.
It wasn't targeted, it wasn't consistent, and it was just a blast to anybody with an address, which was pretty darn stupid. When you're setting up a campaign, you should follow a simple, consistent, formula. Let's say, first you introduce yourself with a really simple message that's very focused, right? Just one simple message. If it's avoid foreclosure, that's it. If it's I want to buy your house for cash, that's it. If it's I'm going to pay top dollar for your property because you want to talk about subject to properties or something like that, that's something else. But whatever that message is, put it out there, and it's got to be one thing. And then everything in between that first message and the last message is reiterating and reinforcing and following up on your first offering. And you just do it over and over and over and say it 10 different ways. And then the last offering is like, hey, look, I'm going to stop bugging you, but when I'm gone, you're going to miss out. This is your last chance, right?
Yeah, you've got to set the urgency. There's got to be a call to action. And that last one, there's got to be not only urgency and a call to action, but there's also there's got to be a fear of loss. You've got to really hype the fear of loss every single time. I can't tell you how many times I've called people and left them. If I have a lead that comes into my business, I call them every day for 2 or 3 days, and then once a week for 2 or 3 weeks is what I like to do. And typically by the end of that, if I can't get in touch with them, I just say, hey, this is going to be the last time I call you. So appreciate it. This is going to be the last time that I give you a call, Josh. If you're interested in anything having to do with property management or anything in the real estate world, I want to be your friend in the real estate world. Give me a call, and we can go from there.
Exactly. You can call me anytime, but like this might be the last time that I'm in the market to buy your house.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So postcards are great for a couple of reasons, that we talked about just a couple minutes ago. But one reason I like postcards is they fit really nice on a refrigerator, right behind, and you oftentimes find people, hey, we thought about selling, Judah. My wife and I, we thought about selling our house. Let's hold on to this card. And it sits on our, refrigerator for 4 months, 6 months, and a year later, they end up calling your number.
Right.
It happens. It's real. Depending on who you're targeting, sometimes these lists are dead in 4 months. Sometimes even less frequently. But sometimes you need to space it out. Depending on the list, you need to space it out and have a longer lead time on that. Specifically, like probate listings, you'll get a big response the first time you mail, and then it's like crickets for about 6 or 8 months. And then all of a sudden I get a big response towards the tail end of a 1-year campaign, because guess what? At the end of 1 year, they got to have that tax filing done.
Right.
There's a lot more impetus to get things done. So, there's different, each campaign is going to be a little bit different. All right. That's postcards. Let's take a look at the letters. And one of the detriments of a postcard is that you don't have much space, right? And you want to get your message across. Letters are a totally different situation. There you can fit a lot more in your message. Oftentimes they look a lot more professional, and you can get a little bit more personal with a message, especially if you're handwriting. I mean, a handwritten letter with a hand addressed envelope is, by far the biggest response I've ever seen, right? I mean, that's the success of the yellow letter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the success of the yellow letter. There's also other times you want to use letters, like maybe when you're going after service providers or key connectors in your market. You might want to do a letter campaign to realtors. I've done that in the past, and that's worked out pretty well. Hey, realtors, I will buy your old listings. I'll make an offer on all of your expiring listings. If you've got a listing that's expiring and you want an offer and you want it to be in writing and you want it to be an all cash offer, can't promise that you're going to love the price, but at least you can show your buyers, your listings, that you are generating offers, and so I can get you an offer.
And it might not be the offer that you want, but it's something. It keeps them in the game, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
The other thing I would say about letters is, and I hope I'm not stepping on toes here, Josh, but I've had really great success with go back a slide. There's that slide there that says notice. So I've used those yellow cards that look like it's the water company shutting off the water or something like that. And I've also used letters that are what's called zip letters. Like there's those letters that you have to tear open.
Yep.
the crazy thing. Those are actually cheaper to send, and they get a better open rate because it looks like, oh my goodness, this is a tax notice. Oh my goodness, I don't even say anything on the outside to make it look like that or whatever. And I've had people, and I know that's the truth because people call me yelling that I gave them a heart attack, for making them think that this was some official document, and here it was just a marketing piece, and how much of a dirty, rotten rat fink I am for doing that. And I say, listen, I get it. I apologize. I'm very sorry. Those are just the cheaper letters to use. And that's why I do that. I apologize that you were concerned, sir, or confused. But the bottom line is if it invoked that emotional reaction from them and they called the complaint, I know it also got that similar attention from other people
Right.
that then also saw, oh, well, here I am. This might be the way that I can do this. So when you do when I do a marketing campaign, a direct marketing campaign, you're talking about 12 to 14, or excuse me, 4 to 12 pieces here. One of the things that I like to do is a zip letter, a postcard. You can mix this up as well.
Well, so let's talk about cost here. Okay.
Yeah.
So to mail a postcard is less expensive than mailing a letter. It just is. You can mail a postcard, and you know what? I don't remember exactly what it is, but the last time I sent out a postcard mailing, it cost me 32 cents a piece. Now that was
Right.
with a bulk mail. That included printing, it included mailing, and it included a bulk mail rate. So it wasn't first class mail. It's not like it was going to get there in 3 days. Some of these took 2 weeks to get out. So, depending on what you're looking for, you can spend as much as $1 on a postcard, depending on the size, shape, colors, and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I don't even know what the zip letters cost. I've never done that. I might add that into my bag of tricks now, Judah.
Yeah, man. It absolutely should be something that I would add if I was you.
I mean, the big key though is to get people to read the message. That's the whole point of this. I knew somebody years ago that they used to put either a folded up dollar or like a quarter in the envelope or a penny or whatever, something that gave it weight and rattled around in that package because people are like, what's this? The other thing that I've seen that has worked is a pre-printed check with the owner's name and address on it. It looks like something from the bill. What's this? And it says this is not a check, but it's the dollar amount that you might offer on the house.
Right.
So it's a $50, $75, $150,000 check, and they're like, oh, this looks pretty good. I might give them a call. It's something that induces a response, and that's our whole point here.
I would say this. I've had good success, and I know I've mentioned this on previous shows, with stapling a dollar bill to the letter. I went to the bank. I said, I need $100 bills. And they said, what are you getting married? Is it a bachelor club time or something like that? And I said, no, I didn't even think about that. I'm such a prudish Lancaster County boy. I didn't realize how suspicious it is to walk into the bank and ask for 100 single dollar bills. So I was mailing 83 attorneys in Lancaster County, something like that. And so I knew I was going to spend, this much money on postage, this much money on whatever. It basically added, I just hand wrote them all myself because I could do that with that number. But I took the letter and I stapled $1 to each and every one of them. And, make all the attorney jokes you want here, but I got a much higher response rate from little old unsophisticated Judah just sending a letter to an attorney with a $1 bill stapled to it in a number 10 yellow or number 10 white envelope, addressed in blue ink with a red confidential stamp on it. Yeah. I got a ridiculous response rate from attorneys saying, who are you and what do you do again? And how can we work together? And you want to go get lunch sometime? Yeah. I mean, that's the point. The letter is to get you to the phone call. It's up to you to take it from there. I knew I wanted relationships with attorneys because that was going to be ultimately more fruitful, more profitable to me.
Yeah. So I one letter campaign that I used that was very significant was two probates. Okay. And if you've ever done a probate mailing, you know that everybody mails them. Everybody mails them because there's a high probability of being able to get a pretty decent deal out of those kind of leads if they call you. Well, one thing that I realized as I kind of look back at some of my projects is that some of the best deals I got from probate mailers were from people that they always wanted to come back and see the house after it was done. They wanted to see what mom's house was going to look like after it was put back in the condition that they remember growing up. And like the last 10 years of mom's life, she stopped keeping up with the house after dad died and this happened and that happened. And if I could appeal to that part of that segment of the populace in a better way, I was going to have a better response. And so what I started doing is getting manila envelopes, like the large 9 by 12 envelopes. I had a 3-page letter. It was front and back, 3 pages. And in the beginning, it was a very quick blurb. It was like, get your attention. Hey, listen, I'm not going to waste your time. Here's why I'm contacting you. If you think that this is tasteless, I'm sorry. It's not my intention to bug you, whatever. And then I had a page of testimonials.
Right.
Just a page of little blurbs from people that I worked with in the same situation. And then it's 2 pages of before and after photos of projects that I did. And by the time they got to the end, if they read through the letter, guaranteed I got a call because nobody else was doing that.
Nah, that's amazing. It's almost like what you were sending them was the Cliff Notes version of a credibility kit.
That's exactly right.
That's what you were sending them. You were sending them a Cliff Notes version of your credibility kit. By the way, we've done shows on credibility kits. If anybody wants my notes on how to do a credibility kit, let me know. We had Anthony Moore on last week, and he has high praise for my credibility kit that I helped him write and walked him through that process. And he has found that it opens up many, many doors. By the way, rule number 1 of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Rule number 1 of a credibility kit is you don't call it a credibility kit. Because the first thing people think is, why do you need credibility? Why do you need a kit to establish your credibility?
Yep. So one piece of a credibility kit is a pre-approval letter. If you need a pre-approval letter for a property that you're looking 100%. At, hard money bankers, because we
even if you intend on never using Josh, even if you don't like Josh, even if you want to use a different hard money lender, you should have a.
Whoa, what are you saying?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to be as devil's advocate here as possible. If you have another, and if you use Josh, you should also have a hard money. Like if I'm opening up a credibility kit and I see 3 hard money lenders in there, fabulous.
That's right. That's exactly right. You want to create. I mean, the idea of a credibility kit is to create credibility that your offer is stronger than everyone else.
Here's what I love. As says, how can you not like Josh? Are you paying this guy? I'm starting to think you're paying him. Steve, what's the well, text me afterwards what you mean about Steve Shakespeare. We only have like 2 minutes left in the show here. We'll talk about that.
All right. So let's jump off here. All right. Marketing lists. What do you look for? All right. Remember, you want people that want or need to sell their house and those that are likely to do it for less than market value. That's number 1. Examples: probate, vacant properties, expired listings, divorce filings, high equity, sales before X date. You can come up with anything.
Melissa data. Just Google, data source companies or look up,
you can pull a lot of this off the MLS.
You can pull a lot of it. You can ask on Bigger Pockets. Who's got the best data right now? Because who's selling the best data this month might be different than 2 years ago. And so, definitely keep that stuff fresh. There's Fortune Builders has a lot of really good website, a lot of really good articles on how to find information like this. Bigger Pockets has good sources of information like this. And there's other things like that. We're not going to walk through that. We want to show you where the fish are, and then you go fish. I'm not going to bait your hook for you.
There you go. Last but not least, processing and delivery. there's really three outlets. You can handwrite them yourself, right? You, if you're going to do that, I would encourage you to talk to friends and family.
Yep.
Ask them to help you do it. It's so much more fun to have a little party. Maybe you have a couple cold beers in the fridge and you sit and write letters for a couple hours.
Put on that Netflix show that you binge for 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday. You're going to binge Friends anyway. Friends isn't on Netflix anymore. It's on Peacock now or whatever. The point is, you're going to be, those TV shows that you binge, even if you can't get 500 things done in one sitting, do half an hour and try and get 40 or 50 done,
right.
in over 3 or 4 days, and then you mail them out on Saturday.
And so two little tips here. Number one, go to and look for closeouts at the dollar store. Look for closeouts at Walmart or wherever, where it's like the last one. They got some specialty paper that is closeout, and it's usually $12 for the pack, and they're selling for $1.99 or something.
Yeah.
We want this to look special and different for the people that are opening this letter. Also, get specialty stamps. Get something that looks a little bit different. That's not just the forever American flag in the corner. It's not bad, but something that grabs somebody's interest that they'll open the letter, right? Okay. Second, you can have them printed and you mail them, which means, you go to a local printer, maybe you have a certain postcard design that's printed up. There's tons of places online that you can have this done and shipped to your house. And then you send out a batch at a time. It's pretty straightforward. This is when you want to start looking at bulk mail rates. If you start doing, I think 1,000 might be the minimum for a bulk mail rate. I forget exactly what it is, but that's a big deal. It saves you a lot of money. If time is not of the essence, don't worry about it. Do the bulk mail rate. And then you got full service. I love the full service. I use click to mail through the USPS.
I was going to say USPS is great because all you have to do is upload this CVS file. All you have to do is upload a PDF of your content and say go.
That's right.
And what's funny is they randomly give you those 4 choices. Like you have to pick one, and it's always in a different order and stuff like that. Can you imagine how many companies there are that want to be one of those providers and how they must cut margins?
Oh my gosh.
They've got to be doing that for the thinnest margin ever.
Well, and it's gigantic. And they have local servicers. But the point here is that there is no shortage of companies that do this type of stuff. Whether you're using USPS or you find some place online that you're really happy with, if you like the interface, it makes sense financially for you, run with it. It doesn't matter. You can, there's no shortage of that technology. Okay, so question here. Do you guys use a return address?
I've used a return address. I found that I'm not good with PO boxes. I always intend to check them and then I don't. So I always either use, whenever Judah Hoover is doing any mailing or doing anything for Judah Hoover Incorporated, I just use Slate House's address. I use my office. If you are in any type of an office whatsoever and you're okay to receive mail there, don't ask permission, just make it happen and go from there. Or use your own personal residence. I mean, I've never, ever had anybody show up at my house. I've never had anybody spam me or anything like that. I've just, all of those things. I mean, I don't know, maybe New Yorkers or people in New Jersey do that, but all of the places in Virginia and Pennsylvania and Florida that I've done real estate deals in, and Oklahoma, I've never had any of those problems.
Well, I've mailed hundreds of thousands of pieces of mail and not ever had somebody show up at my house or harass me about that stuff. It doesn't matter. If you're going to use a PO box, go to a store where you've got an address with a suite number. That's the PO box. Use that as the address. Don't put the PO box up there. It's kind of a turnoff. People are like, what is this place?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it.
The Postal Service used to let you do that. Now they don't anymore. Well, you used to be able to use the address of the post office and then the suite number as the PO box, and then the post office got away.
Yeah, but I mean, you can do that in a lot of places. It's
Yeah,
not.
like UPS stores and all those places, which
That's
by
it.
the way are franchised. I mean, those are locally owned. I mean, those are small businesses. So
Right. All right. So that's all we got for today. We're going to be back tomorrow with a bunch more content. If you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to like and share the video. We'll be back here at noon tomorrow. Anything else? Any closing thoughts, Judah?
no, I got nothing, man. Let's rock and roll and make it a great day.
Awesome. See you guys. Take care.
See ya.